Alrighty, guys, we won our last 3 straight underdog tier package bets on my website. But before we get into some more of that, just want to take a quick timeout and welcome you to the video here today for Sunday, August 21st, 2022. My name is Brock Page, and I do sports picks for free right here on YouTube. I also sell my personal sports bets on patreon.com/BrockPage. Once again, guys, I'm 3-0 my last 3 underdog tier package bets on that website. Now, if you want to access that play, it's only going to cost you just $4.99, and the link for that play is in the description section below. You're going to get access to that membership every single day all the way through the end of August. And as an added bonus here, guys, if you sign up for my underdog play here today, you're going to get access to all the cheaper memberships on my website absolutely free. Once again, guys, the link for that bet is in the description section below. I currently have over 610 members who are signed up and active on that site right now. Now, you may be wondering what the difference is between what I do here on YouTube and what I do on my website. Well, what I do here on YouTube is I'll handicap the entire slate of games in any given sport, side, and total. And what I do on my website is I actually share with you which one of these free YouTube picks on my channel that I'm actually betting on personally. And with that, guys, let's go ahead and dive into some free content. We're going to take a look at the White Sox taking on the Guardians, 12:05 Eastern first pitch. Chicago's minus $1.25, total 7.5. Dylan Cease for Chicago, Aaron Savali for Cleveland. Now, Savali has just 2 wins on the season with an ERA of 5.63. The Guardians have also had a tough time scoring runs at home this year. These guys are in the bottom 5 in the league in home scoring. Now, they're taking on Dylan Cease for Chicago, who's 12-5 with an ERA in the low 2s. Dylan also has a staggering 178 strikeouts on the season. Now, their lineups had little issue getting base runners this year. They're in the top 5 in team batting average, as Jose Abreu, he's hitting a team best 308. When it comes to the total, the White Sox saw 7 out of their last 10 fall under the number. Meanwhile, 4 out of Cleveland's last 6 at Progressive Field fell under the line. I'm going to lean toward the White Sox, minus $1.25, under 7.5. Next matchup here, Mets, Phillies, 135 East. Philadelphia's minus 130 at home, totals 9. Kyle Gibson for the Titans, Joey Butto making his debut here for the Mets. Buto, however you want to say it. Buto's taking on a Philly lineup here today who struggled scoring runs lately. They averaged less than 1 run a game in their last 6 losses. They're also taking on a Mets team who can certainly hit with the best of them. These guys are in the top 5 in runs per game, and they've been nearly impossible to strike out. Pete Alonso's tied for the league lead with 102 runs batted in. The Sluggers also pounded 30 home runs. And when it comes to the total in this one, New York's 4-3 to the over in their last 7 road games. They also averaged over 5 runs a game in their last 10 meetings with the Phillies. I'm going to lean toward the Mets, plus $1.10, over 9. Next ball game, Blue Jays, Yankees, 135 East. The New York Yankees are minus 120, total 7.5. Nestor Cortez for New York, Alek Manoah for Toronto. And even though Manoah's been dominant this year, it's the Yankees who've been consistently tough to beat in their divisional games. New York 17-10 against the AL East in Yankee Stadium. And despite their recent struggles on offense, they're still leading the majors in home runs per contest. Aaron Judge has a league-best 46 home runs on the season. He's also leading the American League in OPS at the dish. When it comes to the total, New York went 8-2 to the under in their last 10 outings. Meanwhile, Toronto went 60% to the under in their last 10 themselves. I'm going to lean toward New York, minus $1.20, under 7.5. Next matchup, it is going to be Astros-Braves, 135 East. Atlanta's minus 145, totals 8 runs. Jose Urquidy for Houston, Charlie Morton for Atlanta. Now, Charlie comes into today's contest with an ERA in the 4s. And when it comes to cashing in on the run line, the Braves are covering in just 46% of their home games. They're taking on Jose Urquidy for Houston, who's having a solid season on the mound. Urquidy's 11-4 with an ERA in the 3s. Now, the Stros are also doing a nice job of hitting for power. They're in the top 5 in homers, and they're led by Yordan Alvarez, who's hit 31 bombs on the year. Meanwhile, teammate Kyle Tucker, he's the club leader in RBI with 81. When it comes to the total, 4 out of Houston's last 6 road games fell under the total. Meanwhile, on the other side, Atlanta's gone 7-3 to the under in their last 10 themselves. I'm going to lean toward Houston plus 1.5, under 8. Next ball game, little NL Central action. I'm talking about the Reds squaring off against the Pirates. 1:35 Eastern first pitch. Pittsburgh's minus 120, totals 8.5. Zach Thompson for Pittsburgh, Mike Minor for Cincinnati. As pitiful as Minor's been this year, the Reds have won 2 out of their last 3 ball games. And that includes a 10-1 drubbing of Pittsburgh just last night. And even though these Cincinnati pitchers have had a rough year, they are actually in the top 10 in the league right now in strikeouts per 9. Now they're facing a Pittsburgh lineup on the other side who strikes out more times a game at the plate than any other team in the National League. They're also in the bottom 3 in team batting average, and they're scoring just 3.7 runs a game. And even if they put things together offensively, their starting pitcher, Zach Thompson, has really struggled this year. The righty's just 3-9 with an ERA of 5.51. Now, when it comes to total, Pittsburgh saw their last 5 straight at PNC Park get over the total. Meanwhile, Cincinnati went 60% to the over in their last 10 themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Reds plus $1, over 8.5. Next contest I have for you, it is going to be Angels at the Tigers, 1:40 p.m. East. LA's the $2 favorite on the road, total 6.5. Shohei Ohtani for Los Angeles, Eduardo Rodriguez for Detroit. Now, Rodriguez is just 1-3 on the year with an ERA in the 4s. These Detroit hitters also are the worst in the major leagues. They're dead last in homers, dead last in OPS. They're also averaging a league worst 3.2 runs a game. Now, even more bad news for Detroit fans. They have to face Shohei Ohtani on the mound here today, and he's been really good this year. He's got 165 strikeouts and a 1.06 whip. Now, Sho's also reached double-digit wins on the year, along with an ERA in the 2s. And that really shouldn't come as much of a surprise. This Angel pitching staff has been real tough to hit when they travel. They're actually amongst the league leaders in fewest hits allowed per game on the road. And when it comes to the number, the Angels saw 3 out of their last 4 away games fall under the line. Meanwhile, Detroit on the other side, they are 7-3 to the under in their last 10 themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Angels minus 1.5, under 6.5. Next contest I have for you, it is going to be Royals at the Rays, 1:40 p.m. East. Tampa Bay is minus 165, total 7.5 runs. Ryan Yarbrough for Tampa Bay, Zach Greinke for Kansas City. Now, Granks is just 4-8 on the year with an ERA in the 4s. KC also lost 7 out of their last 9. They scored 3 runs or less 8 times during that span. Now they're facing a Tampa club on the other side of things who won 6 out of their last 8 themselves. And they really did a nice job at the plate, especially during that time frame. Randy Arozarena, he currently leads the team in homers and runs batted in. Meanwhile, Yandy Diaz, he is currently the team leader in batting average. Now, when it comes to the total, Tampa Bay went 60% to the under in their last 10. Meanwhile, Kansas City saw 4 out of their last 6 road games fall under the total. I'm going to lean toward Tampa Bay, minus 165, and the under 7.5. Next contest I have for you, it is going to be Rangers-Twins, 2:10 p.m. East. Minnesota's the $2 favorite. Total's 8.5. Joe Ryan for Minnesota. Kohei Ariara for Texas. Now the Rangers got the W in 5 out of their last 8 ball games. And they've had little issue hitting home runs this year. The Rangers are in the top 10 in homers, and they're led by Corey Seager, who's hit 26 round trippers on the year. Meanwhile, Dallas Garcia, he's the team leader in RBI with 75. Now they're taking on a Twins team who's struggled cashing in on the run line this year. Minnesota's covering in just 44% of their contests at Target Field. When it comes to the total, 4 out of Minnesota's last 5 at Target Field fell under the number. Meanwhile, Texas went 60% to the under in their last 10 themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Rangers plus 1.5, keeping this one close, and the under 8.5. Next ball game, little NL Central action. I'm talking about the Brewers taking on the Cubs. 2:20 Eastern first pitch. Milwaukee's the $1.55 favorite, total 7. Brandon Woodruff for the Brewers, Justin Steele for Chicago. Now Steele's got 111 strikeouts along with a 3.43 ERA. The Cubbies are also on a 5-game winning streak, and they also got the W in 8 out of their last 10. Nico Horner leads the team in batting average. He's hitting just about 300 at the dish. Meanwhile, Patrick Wisdom is the club leader in home runs and RBI. Now they're taking on a Milwaukee team who lost 3 out of their last 4 themselves, and they've struggled offensively this year. These Milwaukee hitters are currently in the bottom 10 in team batting average. They're also striking out more times a game than most clubs in the National League. Now, scoring-wise, 3 out of Milwaukee's last 5 road games got over the posted number. They're also 21 and 11 to the over against the NL Central on the road. Meanwhile, Chicago, on the other side of things, they went 60% to the over in their last 10 themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Cubs, plus 1.5, over 7. Next contest, little NL West action. I'm talking about the Giants taking on the Rockies. 3:10 Eastern first pitch in Denver. Now, San Francisco's the $1.30 favorite on the road. Totals 11 runs. Jacob Junis for San Francisco. Kyle Freeland for Colorado. Now, Freeland's got a losing 7-8 record, along with an ERA close to 5. And that really shouldn't come as much of a surprise. This Colorado pitching staff is allowing more hits per game than any other club in the majors. They're also facing a Giants team on the other side of things, who's averaged just about 5 runs a game in their last 10 head-to-head meetings with Colorado. Despite their issues this season, well, the Giants are still amongst the better scoring teams in the National League. Wilmer Flores currently leads the team in runs batted in. He's got 58 of them. When it comes to the pitching, Jake Junis has definitely given these guys chances to win this year. The righty's got an ERA in the 3s along with a 1.14 whip. Now, total-wise, 6 out of these teams' last 10 head-to-head meetings did get over the line. Meanwhile, Colorado went 4-2 to the over in their last 6 themselves. I'm going to lean towards San Francisco, minus 130, over 11. Next game, Mariners A's, 4:07 East. Seattle's the $2.20 favorite on the road. Total 6.5 runs. Luis Castillo for the Mariners. J.P. Sears for Oakland. And even though JP's looked real good this year, the A's are a bit outmatched. They're winning just 31% of their home games this season. They also have the lowest team batting average at the plate in the league. Now they're taking on Luis Castillo on the mound here today, who's got himself an ERA in the 2s, along with a 1.07 whip. Now the Mariners have also won 7 out of their last 10. They did a real nice job at the plate during that span. Ty France is currently leading the team in batting average. Meanwhile, Eugenio Suarez is the club leader in homers and RBI. Now, total-wise, 6 out of Seattle's last 10 meetings with Oakland fell under the number. So if you're into historical trends, you certainly want to think about that one there. Matter of fact, the A's averaged well under 3 runs a game during that span I just mentioned. And speaking of unders, Oakland's 32-24 to the under this year in their divisional contests. I'm going to lean towards Seattle minus 1.5, and the under 6.5 in the very tight window. Next game, Nats Pods, 4:10 p.m. East. San Diego's the $2.80 favorite. Total's 8.5. Sean Manaea for San Diego. Patrick Corbin for Washington. Now, Corbs has lost a staggering 16 games this year, and he has an ERA of 6.96. And even if Corbs throws like a professional pitcher here today, the Nats have had a tough time scoring on the road. They're in the bottom 10 in road runs per contest. Now, they're also taking on Sean Manaea on the other side, who's got 128 strikeouts in just 123 innings. The Pods have also averaged over 7 runs a game in their last 10 meetings with the Nationals. Manny Machado's leading the organization in batting average and home runs. He's hitting .302 at the plate. He's also knocked in 76 runners. When it comes to the total, the Pods went 60% to the under in their last 10 outings. Meanwhile, the Nats saw unders in 6 out of their last 10 themselves. I'm going to lean towards San Diego minus 1.5 and the under 8.5. All right, next ball game, it is going to be Cards D-backs, 4:10 p.m. East. St. Louis is minus 130, total 7.5. Jose Quintana for St. Louis, Merrill Kelly for Arizona. Now, Kelly's 10-5 on the year with an ERA of 2.81. The D-backs also have a winning record at home, and they've had little issue scoring at Chase Field. They're actually in the top 10 in runs per contest on their home field. Christian Walker's 7th in the majors in home runs. The Sluggers hit 29 bombs on the year. He's also knocked in 70. Now they're taking on Jose Quintana, who simply can't get the W this year. Out of 103 innings of work this season, Quintana's gotten the W just 3 times. This Cardinal pitching staff has also struggled with striking batters out. They're actually in the bottom 3 in strikeouts per 9 on the mound. Now, when it comes to the total, the Cards saw 3 out of their last 4 road games get over the number. They also went 60% to the over in their last 10 meetings with Arizona. So once again, if you're into historical trends, you certainly want to think about that one there. I'm going to lean toward Arizona plus $1.10 and the over 7.5. All right, next contest, it is going to be Marlins Dodgers, 4:10 p.m. East. The LA Dodgers are minus 175, total 7.5 runs. Ryan Pepio for Los Angeles, Sandy Alcantara for Miami. And even though Sandy's been dominant this season, he probably won't get any run support. The Fish lost 7 out of their last 9. They average only 1.7 runs a game in those losses. The Marlins are officially in the bottom 5 in the league right now in scoring on average per game. They're also facing a Dodger club who's nearly 40 games above 500, and they win 74% of their contests at home. Now, when it comes to offensive production, the Dodgers will typically outscore anyone they face. They're leading the league in runs and OPS. Trey Turner has a team-best 83 RBI on the season. Meanwhile, Freddie Freeman's hitting a club-best 321 at the plate. Now, when it comes to the total, the Marlins saw their last 3 straight on the road fall under the number. They're also 9-1 to the under in their last 10 at any location. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the Dodgers minus 1.5 and the under 7.5 runs. And with that, guys, we're going to jump into our next and final breakdown for the video. It is going to be Red Sox Orioles. That'll be a 7:10 Eastern first pitch at Camden Yards. Both teams are minus $1.10 with the total at 8.5. Dean Kramer for the O's, Nick Pivetta for Boston. And even though Pivetta's got 130 strikeouts, he comes into today's ball game with an ERA in the 4s. And that really shouldn't come as much of a surprise. This Boston pitching staff has really fallen short all season long. These guys are in the bottom 10 in hits allowed, and they're giving up just about 5 runs a game. Now, they're also facing an O's team who plays their best baseball at home. These guys are winning 60% of their ball games at Camden Yards. They're also averaging over 6 runs a game in their last 10 meetings with Boston. Now, Anthony Santander, he has a team best 21 home runs, along with 66 RBI. When it comes to the pitching, Dean Kramer's having a real solid year. He's 5-4 with an ERA in the 3s. Now, when it comes to the total, Baltimore 60% to the under in their last 10. Meanwhile, the Bo Sox saw 6 out of their last 10 fall under the number themselves. I'm going to lean toward Baltimore minus $110 and the under 8.5. And with that, guys, we're going to jump into our quick pick recap. Powered to you by my website at patreon.com/BrockPage, where I'm currently 3-0 my last 3 underdog tier package bets. I like the White Sox minus $1.25, under 7.5. Give me the Mets plus $1.10, over 9. Yankees minus 120, under 7.5. Houston plus 1.5, under 8. Cincinnati plus $1, over 8.5. LA Angels minus 1.5, under 6.5. Tampa Bay Rays minus 165, under 7.5. Texas plus 1.5, under 8.5. Chicago Cubs plus 1.5, over 7. San Francisco minus 130, over 11. Seattle minus 1.5, under 6.5. San Diego minus 1.5, under 8.5 runs. Arizona plus $1.10, over 7.5. LA Dodgers minus 1.5, under 7.5 runs. And before I give you my next and final free pick for the video, one final reminder that if you want to see which one of these free picks on this video that I'm actually betting on personally, there's only one way to do that, and that's to sign up for a membership on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage. I'm going to lean toward Baltimore minus $110, under 8.5. And with that, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my website. Now, if you guys do end up getting a membership here today on patreon.com/BrockPage, just keep in mind you're going to get billed the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. I always tell folks in every single video, the earlier in the month you sign up, the better. And guys, if you want to get access to every single bet, every single package, every single day, you're going to want to sign up for my board member package. It's an all-inclusive membership. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, guys, happy Sunday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.